You need to dream bigger, and you need to believe it's possible. Your life is 100% up to you.
I hate the word budget. It's limiting. I hate being limited. I want to create wealth. Welcome back to the Jared Briggs Show. Today we are going to talk about a very fun topic that I enjoy, where we're going to be talking about cutting costs or increasing income. This is a very fun episode because in today's world, everybody's so caught up in how much inflation and the cost of everything and cutting expenses and saving and investing and all these different things. But I look at it from a different perspective of what could we do to increase income. So that's what we're going to be talking about today. So hopefully you can get some value from this, because this topic right here is something that really helped me increase income, but also change my mindset from what is it that's going to really help me achieve my financial goals and the things that I desire in my life. So let's just jump right into it. Let's go. I want to start out with, I was actually on a walk the other day, and maybe it was this morning, whenever it was. I've been going for a lot of walks. I put a weighted vest on and I try to go for at least 2 miles, if not a little bit more. And I was listening to a book called The Secrets of the Millionaire Mind by T. Harv Eker. And I really enjoy this book. If any of you are looking for a good book to read about money, about growth, about all these things, it's a good personal development plus teaching you about money and mindset. And I was listening to this and I got off into my own thoughts. I actually had to pause it for a little bit. And I got off into my own thoughts thinking about increasing income. And I remember when I learned the topic of increasing income from the perspective, it's easier to make $1,000 than it is to save $1,000. And I did not understand that topic. I didn't understand that because I was like, how the heck am I going to increase my income $1,000? Like, shouldn't I just create a savings plan so that I can save $1,000? The one thing about it is, and the automatic reality that we have to come to terms with is life today is more expensive than it was 5 years ago, 10 years ago, 20 years ago. I mean, think of people when they talk about the 70s and 80s and the 90s. You know, people were paying less than $1 a gallon for gas or diesel. Housing, you know, they're buying houses for $20,000, $30,000, $40,000, $50,000. Like all of the things that they talk about. Well, in 2005, 2010, 2015, everything just kept increasing. So I want you to think about that from a perspective of, am I ever going to truly be able to save enough money to keep up with everything that's going on? Let's say you have a fixed income right now and you're renting. My wife and I rented for the first 6 or 7 years of our marriage. Everybody says renting is a waste of money. I actually believe renting is a good position, because if you're not in a permanent place in your life yet, you should rent. And so my wife and I rented. It kept our expenses low. Well, one thing that does happen is if you move to another place or they raise rent, which happened to us multiple times when we were renting and my wife was going to school, you know, let's say your rent is $800 a month and they raise it to $950 a month. You can't do nothing about that. There's nothing you can do to be like, oh, okay, you either move and go find something cheaper, but if you keep paying the same $800 a month, they're eventually going to kick you out because you're $150 short. Like the rent is new there. Like, do you see the problem there with this whole concept of saving? Oh, we got to change, you know, save, cut costs, do all this. You know, you can cut costs as much as you want. You really can. You can cut out your cell phone. Like, cell phones are not a necessity. You will not die without your cell phone. Now, I know we think that, and I sometimes think that. I'm like, I don't know how I'd run my life without my cell phone, but my heart would keep beating. My lungs would keep pumping air. Okay. So you could literally get rid of your cell phone. Vehicles, we got bikes, motorcycles, horses, you know, you could cut those things out. Do you see the road that I'm going down here? Like, we could get so extreme that we cut everything out of our life. That's how extreme it's going to have to get to keep up with inflation, to keep up with the devaluing of dollar because of what the Federal Reserve and the IRS and the government and everything is doing. Like, it is happening at a rapid rate. So it doesn't matter your income, you are going to have to continue to cut costs to keep up with things that are going on. And there's so many things outside of your control too. If they raise gas 30 cents a gallon, there's nothing you could do about it. It's either you buy the gas or you don't buy the gas. Same thing with taxes, groceries, all of these things that we do use and buy on the daily. Now I want to flip the script. I want to look at this from a different perspective. All of those things are out of our control, right? So what is in your control? Like, I want you to take an honest, heartfelt evaluation of your life. And you're like, okay, I can sit here and be frustrated and mad about health insurance, car insurance, groceries, all these different things. But at the end of the day, it's not going to change anything. Nothing's going to change based on the amount of money you have available, the amount of stuff you can save, your expenses, all of those things, right? It is completely out of your control unless you just get rid of everything like we talked about. But if we took a step back and we looked and we took 100% responsibility for ourselves and our lives, we are capable of increasing our income. We can work more hours. We can start a side hustle. We can start a business. We can develop a new skill and a new talent that pays more. We can do all of those things. That's where my mind started going down the road of like, okay, maybe they're onto something where they say it's easier to increase income or make $1,000 than it is to save $1,000. And I started going down this road and I said, is it true? Is it something that is 100% viable? And I started focusing in my business, in my life, in the management of my money, in the conversations with my wife. It was like, hey, we could either sit here and go over our finances every single month. We could comb through it and comb through it and comb through it, go through the credit card, go through everything and be like, hey, we can't buy that anymore. Instead of buying the brand name peanut butter, start buying the generic peanut butter. Instead of buying 3-ply or 5-ply toilet paper, you need to buy 1-ply and just wrap your hand like crazy. Like, those are the conversations you can have. Is we either cut costs or we increase income. So I started having this conversation with my wife and we started looking at everything. And I'm like, look, we're cut down to nothing anyways. Back when my wife and I were first married, we were only making $1,000 or less per month. What else do you cut out of your life, right? We're not making much to begin with. And I started looking at it and said, we can either be really good at managing our money and take all of our energy and effort and focus on increasing income, or we can figure out how to live on nothing for the rest of our life. That is 100% the case, the opportunity, the reality that we are in every single day in America. I hear this all the time. I don't know how the heck kids, and they're talking about their kids or grandkids or whatever, the 18, 19, 20, 25, 30, they're talking about those people. I don't know how these kids are going to buy houses. Yeah, because we're still operating off the traditional mindset of go to school, get a good job, get benefits, and be happy with what you got. We're still operating off of getting paid $15, $20, $25 an hour. We're still operating off making sure everything in the government is okay and that Social Security and Medicare and all these health insurance benefits are going to still be here. We're still operating off the jobs that are available and that people are working, that my dad, my grandpa, my family members worked 20, 30, 40, 50 years ago. We're still operating in that same mindset, let alone looking around and realizing we've got computers that the greatest computer in 1980 isn't even close to what this, and this is now outdated. It's not even close to what this device can do, let alone the new industries, let alone the new innovations, let alone technology, let alone AI, let alone all of the advancements that we have in this world. We are still operating based on a mindset of what used to be. We are changing. The universe, America, the world has changed. I talk about it often. When the tractor came out, it replaced thousands of jobs, and people were freaking out then. Well, a tractor is an everyday thing now on a farm and ranch. Nobody thinks different about it. And everybody else found jobs. They found opportunities. So what I'm sharing here is we are in a place of opportunity to be innovative. That is one beautiful part about the United States of America: freedom of speech, freedom of religion, the right to bear arms, and free opportunity. The capitalism way. Anybody has the opportunity to go out and about. So this opportunity and this thinking of, okay, we need to increase income. So I started looking at it and I said, all right, we're going to be very disciplined. We're going to know where our money is going and what our money is doing. But at the end of the day, we have to take all of our energy. And I literally explain it this way. You need to take 5% of your effort and energy and put all of that energy towards management. 5%. You need to learn how to manage money. A great book for this is The Richest Man in Babylon. Incredible book for management, and also The Secrets of the Millionaire Mind. Take those two principles taught in those books, blend them together, create your own plan, and execute those things. Your money comes in, you already know where it's going. You pay yourself first, you get your things paid for, taken care of, invested, grow, and develop. Okay? And develop this. At the start, it's going to take 90% of your energy. And then the next month, it's going to take 85% of your energy. And then the next month, it's going to take 75% of your energy. Okay? Every time you learn something new or do something new, it's confusing, it's frustrating, and it just sucks. Like last night, I was blowing out my sprinkler lines for the first time. Last year, I got crazy busy. I hired somebody else to do it. And this year, I was like, you know what? I got an air tank. I'm going to do it. So I watched a 10-minute YouTube video just to make sure I didn't blow anything up or do anything. And it was kind of frustrating. And it took me a minute. And then I realized, oh, I can do it this way and this way and this way. I got 3 different systems I got to blow out. And it took me a minute. And I literally was like, oh, next year, it's literally going to take me 15 minutes. It kind of sucked right there at the beginning, learning how to, what system that I needed to do and make sure I did it correctly and make sure I got all the water out of the line, right? Well, guess that there was a learning curve and it was uncomfortable. We're all stuck in our comfort zone, but that moment was uncomfortable. But now, the next time I go to do it, or if somebody asks me to do it, I could do it without thinking. Okay? That's how money management, that's how finances, that's how banking, that's how all of these things are going to feel at the start. You can either face it and go through the suck and figure it out and learn it, or you can keep going down the path you are and just be broke and miserable, live paycheck to paycheck and struggle the rest of your life. Like that is the honest reality that we are at this time in the United States of America. Okay? So take a moment, even just a little bit of a moment, and start learning something about money and put some effort and energy into learning what money is, how money works, and what to do with it, and create you a plan, a wealth creation plan. Create this plan and put a lot of energy and effort into it. But you're eventually going to get to where you're like, hey, I can manage my money within 30 minutes to an hour every single month. It's just automatic. I do it. I don't even think about it. Done. And then take all of your other energy. What if you took all of your energy and you started thinking and you started reading and you started searching and you started looking around and you started paying attention and you started giving a lot of conscious and subconscious thought and effort and energy towards increasing income? Let's say you work at a company right now. What if you started looking at what else could I learn? Could I learn someone else's job and do that job? And now I'm one person doing 2 people's job more efficiently and better and bringing more revenue and profit to the company. If you did that, do you think you would get a raise? Do you think you would get more opportunity? Do you think you'd become a manager or the boss? Or maybe you'd be like, hey, I can do this better now. I've learned everything about this company. I'm going to go start my own company. I've heard it explained, somebody making fries. If you work at McDonald's, what if you focused so much at your station, you make fries and you only make fries? Maybe you're getting paid $9 an hour. Well, what if you focused on you having the cleanest station, it being the best? The fries are the best. They're salted perfectly. They're warm. They're crisp. They're exactly how everybody likes them. Don't you think the manager's going to pay attention to that? Like, man, that person, their station is always clean. They keep things wiped down and swept up and organized and clean. Maybe we should give them a promotion. Next thing you know, you're managing a couple different stations, or maybe they've moved you up to cook into the burgers, and now maybe you're managing the store. Attention to detail, being very specific in those opportunities, in those situations. So what if you focused on this? What if you focused on, you know what, maybe I'm not going to get a monetary increase right now, but I'm going to be the very best that I can be. And I'm going to keep my eyes open. I'm going to start listening. I'm in a restaurant or I'm standing around something, I'm going to be listening to the conversations and everything that are going on. And if I hear opportunity or hear somebody talking about a problem or this or this or this, pounce on it. Every business, every side hustle, every opportunity, the job, the business, whatever it is that you do right now solves a problem for other people. I spend most of my day helping people with insurance. You guys, everybody that I help could go on Medicare.gov or healthcare.gov or call the life insurance company directly and buy things on their own. But I literally have positioned myself. I'm going to explain how the product works. I'm going to educate you on your different options available in your area. I'm going to show you the pros and the cons. I'm going to be here for customer service. I'm going to help you if there's problems. I've literally just positioned myself. I'm like, everybody could do this on their own, but I'm going to solve a problem because this is confusing. It's hard. So I'm going to take a 300-page book called Medicare and You, and I'm going to simplify it down to a 20, 30-minute presentation for people, the things that are important, and that's going to really affect them. And we explode. We have tons of opportunity. That's all business is. That's all opportunity is. So do you see this? I can sit here and I can focus on cutting expenses, or I can get after it. I can create opportunity. I can solve a problem. I can help people. I can serve them. So now you're focusing on this. You're literally looking around. How can I increase my income? I make $2,000 a month. How do I get to $3,000 a month? How do I increase that? What can I do? What are some values? Maybe you're not in an industry or field you're interested in at all. Okay, that's fine. Use that. Use that. Pay your bills. Take care of things. Start managing your money. And maybe it's time for you to go buy a course. Maybe it's time for you to go join a program. Maybe you need to go to an event. Maybe you and your wife just need to go to something, or maybe you're not married, whatever your situation is. Maybe you just need to go on a trip or an event or something. Maybe you just need to take so-and-so out to dinner. Be like, hey, what do? You seem like you're doing really well and you enjoy. What is it that you do? I'm looking for a career change. I'm looking for some more opportunity. Go be a part of some network marketing communities. Go be a part of some masterminds. Go be a part of some community get-togethers. Go start expanding and growing and listening to the different things that are going on. And when you find something that grasps you, go for it. Go for it. But go with the mind of, I'm expecting to win. You see, stop playing to lose. Stop investing to lose. You're never going to win if you're investing to not lose. A lot of people invest in the stock market. They're like, man, I hope I don't lose. Well, what do you think is going to happen? You should invest to win. You should study things from a perspective of, how do I become a winner? If you play basketball and you step on the court and you look at your other four teammates, you're like, man, guys, I really hope we don't lose today. They're going to be like, what the freak, dude? What are we doing? It's the same thing in life, you guys. Everything is energy, 100% energy. So we've been talking about these categories of, you can either give all your time, energy, effort to cutting expenses, to getting those things out of your life, or you can get really good at managing your money, being smart, becoming a steward of wealth, and then focus all your effort and energy towards increasing income. I want you to think automatically, what one sounds better? Who do you think, if person A just only focused on their income now, and they just focus on cutting expenses and investing, where do you think they would be? Where if person B is like, okay, I'm going to get good at managing money, but then I'm going to focus my effort and energy on increasing income, who do you think is going to win? I really hope you guys said person B. I've literally been thinking about from a perspective of, what if there was someone that had a good job, made $50,000 a year, and they did $150,000 a year. It doesn't matter, however much salary. And they did everything they were told to do. They got their benefits, they got their company retirement plan and the match and all those things, and they saved, invested, and they were smart with their money. Where would that person be 50, 60, 70 years from that point? Let's say they started right at 20, clear to retirement. They did it exactly by the book. Or if person B started out with a good income, but they invested an incredible amount of time, effort, energy, and money into their knowledge. They never stopped. They read, they studied, they expanded, they grew. And then they took that learning and then they invested and studied and planned and grew. And now they're making more money and they're making more money and they're making more money and they're making more money. And they just kept doing that and doing that and doing that. And they invested and they did all these different things. And they didn't get the match. They didn't go the traditional way. Where would each one of them be? I've honestly wondered that from a perspective of, I truly believe you will earn more income than you can ever save or invest. I truly believe you can earn more income than you can ever save or invest. If person A just invested $250 a month and that was it, maybe person B was investing nothing and invested into their knowledge and their information for many, many years and grew their income so big, then they could invest $2,000 a month. Who's really winning? I truly believe that a focus of increasing income is the problem that we are dealing with here in the United States of America, with our own U.S. citizens, our family, our neighbors, everybody around us. That alone can solve the problem that we are dealing with. Everybody's complaining about inflation. Everybody's complaining about the cost of living. Everybody's complaining about housing, insurance, wages, all of these things. What if you just increased your income by $1,000 a month? What if you developed a skill, some type of skill, or increased your value to the marketplace and you made $1,000 more a month? That's $12,000 a year. In 10 years, that's 6 figures. Wouldn't that be a better alternative than cutting and cutting and cutting? So what I'm sharing here is to create wealth, to create abundance, to become rich, to create financial freedom, whatever your goal is, it will be achieved so much faster through the increase of income, through adding more value to the marketplace, by developing your skills, your talents, and abilities than anything else. Increasing your income is 100% the thing that is keeping you from living paycheck to paycheck. We're living in abundance and enjoying life to the fullest. So you can either be on one side and just focus on cutting expenses and blaming everybody else for everything going on, or you can be on the side of, I'm going to be good at managing my money. I'm going to take life by the horns. I'm going to increase income, and I'm going to dictate my future, my outcome, the goals, the dreams, the everything that I have. It's not going to change. Inflation's crazy. The cost of living is crazy. Everything is wild what it costs. The cost is comparative. So let's increase income. Ladies and gentlemen, that is the conversation about increasing income or cutting costs. This, I feel, is a very valuable topic. That's why we talked about it, because there's a lot of people out there complaining nonstop about the problems going on in America. And I think a solution is focusing on developing yourself, becoming a better version of yourself, adding more value to the marketplace, and increasing your income. Thank you for listening. Thank you for watching. Give me a comment. You guys, we are posting new videos every day on Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, YouTube. I'm pretty sure that's all of them. I'm trying to create a lot of content all the time. We drop a new episode every single Wednesday, so make sure you stay tuned. We're posting on Apple and Spotify, and then YouTube in the evening, afternoon on Wednesday. And we actually are gearing up. We're going to start doing interviews. I've been able to meet a lot of really cool people that have created success in whatever realm and whatever way. We're going to start doing interviews where we just talk about money, what works, what doesn't work, and what is valuable. So stay tuned, because those will be coming out very soon too. Give us a couple of weeks, couple of months on those, but those will be coming. But we're going to be bringing an episode every single week, talking about money, talking about what it takes to create success. What is money? How does money work? What to do with money? And what is the truth about money? You guys have the best day ever. Thank you for listening to the Jared Briggs Show. Have a great week.